For 27 years, students walked past him every single day, but nobody knew this quiet old janitor was secretly changing hundreds of lives. Every morning at 5 a.m., before the students arrived, before the teachers walked through the doors, an old janitor named Walter quietly entered Roosevelt High School in Chicago. Nobody really noticed him. Students rushed past him in the hallways every day. Teachers barely spoke to him. Most people only saw an old man pushing a cleaning cart. His clothes were old, his shoes were worn out. His clothes were old, his shoes were worn out. And every night after school ended, he stayed late cleaning empty classrooms alone. To most people, he looked invisible. But every evening, Walter noticed something most others ignored. Students crying quietly in bathrooms, kids sitting alone after class, teenagers struggling with life while pretending everything was okay. And slowly, Walter began doing something nobody expected. Whenever he found students struggling financially, he secretly helped them. Sometimes he left lunch money inside lockers. Sometimes he paid for school books anonymously. Sometimes students arrived at school and mysteriously found their overdue fees already paid. Nobody knew who was helping them. Rumors spread through the school for years. Some students believed it was a wealthy donor. Others thought it was the principal, but nobody ever suspected Walter. One winter evening, a student named Marcus stayed late after basketball practice. As he walked through the hallway, he noticed Walter sitting alone in a classroom. The old janitor was quietly placing money into an envelope. Marcus accidentally stepped inside. Walter looked startled. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Marcus noticed the envelope. On it were written the words, "For Emily's college application fee." Marcus froze. Emily was one of the smartest students in school, but everyone knew her family couldn't afford college applications. Marcus slowly looked at Walter. "Wait, that's you?" Walter smiled nervously. "Promise me you won't tell anyone." Marcus sat down beside him, and that night, Walter finally shared the truth. For nearly 20 years, he had spent almost every extra dollar from his janitor's salary helping struggling students. Sometimes he skipped meals himself. Sometimes he worked extra shifts. Sometimes he delayed paying his own bills, just so students could stay in school. Marcus couldn't believe it. The next day, he secretly told a teacher. Within weeks, the entire school discovered the truth. And suddenly, everything changed. Students who once ignored Walter began greeting him every morning. Teachers cried after hearing the stories. Former students returned to visit him. Some were now doctors, lawyers, business owners, teachers, and many of them said the same thing. "Without Walter, I would have dropped out." 1 month later, the school organized a surprise assembly. Walter thought he was simply cleaning the gym that morning, but when he walked inside, hundreds of students stood up and began clapping. Then, one by one, former students walked onto the stage. Some carried college diplomas. Others brought old letters Walter had written to them years earlier. Walter stood there speechless. Tears filled his eyes. For decades, he had quietly changed lives, without expecting anything in return. Then the principal stepped forward and said, "Some heroes don't wear suits. They carry cleaning supplies." The entire gym erupted in applause. And for the first time in years, Walter no longer felt invisible. Before leaving the stage, Walter looked at the students and quietly said, "Never underestimate how much kindness can change a person's life."